You were told that male heroes, optimistic science fiction, and even the hope in humanity were old-fashioned losers at the box office. Deconstruct everything, kill the past, right? Well, it turns out Project Hail Mary disproves that load of Hollywood nonsense. And remember when, a long, long time ago, I don't know, like 2 weeks ago, we were all told that Hoppers was a return to form for Pixar. Disney was back on track, baby. Well, about that. Let's just say the Tinseltown fake news narratives are falling apart, and even their closest allies are telling them it's time to turn the page. Hello, folks. Welcome back. How fast is Hollywood rushing to change in an effort to survive? I suppose when even the Gray Lady, the New York Times, a bastion of the left and a Mamdani magnet for liberal love, declares it's time to get out of this woke nonsense. Well, you've reached the end game for what we've suffered through for the last decade at the movies. And the movies, well, if they're going to survive, they have to dive away from this ASAP. What do we need, folks? We need you to ASAP. Click that like button and let's dive in on Deadline. From Anthony D'Alessandro covering this. Project Hail Mary. Blessed art thou at the box office with 164 million plus. They are confused right now about how this is happening. They don't understand. We do, of course. We predicted this for you. We told you it was going to happen. How many weeks did we go into this saying Project Hail Mario? 2 films, non-woke as can be, hearkening back to what we all wanted to see, the things that worked in the 80s, the 90s, the noughts, and then they said, you're not going to get any more of this. Folks, they gave it back. 2 films, Mario and this one. And guess what? 1/7 of the box office of this year is going to happen over the course of about 1 month from these 2 films. Here's what it says. Updated Sunday AM, Phil Lord and Christopher Miller's Project Hail Mary. Hey, didn't these guys work for Lucasfilm at one point? Didn't Kathleen say they're not good enough for Solo? Kathy. Oh, Kathy. It continued to swell in its second weekend with a Saturday of 22.7 million. It's a 55% plus hold for a 3-day of 54.5 million. A great only 32% drop for the entire weekend. We already told you that Second Frame is bigger than Oppenheimer. It's bigger than Dune Part 2. It's bigger than Sinners. The end game for domestic is 265 million, but with the Good Friday Easter weekend coming and K-12 schools on break at 71% on Friday, well, it feels like this one just might shoot past the moon, says Anthony D'Alessandro. And why, folks? Well, if we go to the numbers, which is under a refurbishment right now, so we don't have all the data from the numbers we'd like to show you, but if we look at this, I can show you enough to explain why. Hollywood is shaken down to its little Tinseltown booties right now, and they're trying to figure out where is the ground underneath them. This is proving, this is Top Gun Maverick all over again. This is Godzilla -1 all over again. The difference, folks, here is that they are at an existential quandary. If they don't change, they're going to go extinct. And there's one thing that Hollywood loves more than preening and telling you just how much better they are. It's money. Money, money, money. They love the stuff. It takes a lot to buy a yacht, and they love their yachts a lot. Here's what we're finding out, though, from Project Hail Mary. 224 million right now at the worldwide. What you need to know about the worldwide? This is not fully rolled out. That's why we don't have a 1-to-1. So once we get all of the markets in place, you're going to see this start to race up in the international. Now, unfortunately, I can't click on international as we could before. Again, the numbers is under refurb right now. They'll have that in the future, but we can't show you the countries, but not all the countries have released. And what that means is that what we're looking at 164, we think in the future it's going to be closer to a 1-to-1. We don't know that, but probably. So this is a lot of money to make. But what you can see right now is that already, if we look at here at the legs, I like this new metric they have. Under the legs, we are already at a 2x in the second week. Now remember, for a film to do really, really well, usually you want to see something like a 3.5, 4x, and anything beyond that is just amazing. In 2 weeks, we're at a 2x leg. That's phenomenal. That is amazing, especially when it had a great launch. And that's what happens when you have a decrease like what we've seen, which is just minuscule. If we click on the box office here, you can see that we've got a 32% drop at Project Hail Mary. That means this has staying power. And by the way, why do I call it Project Hail Mario? Mario coming out this Wednesday, review on the way here on the channel. Folks, why do we call that? Why do we call it the Barbenheimer kind of thing? Because I don't think that these movies are in conflict with one another. I think they're going to drive each other even higher. I think that kids are going to go see kids are going to go see Mario, and the grown-ups are going to go see Project Hail Mary. I don't think that you've got they're not disconcerted. They're not going up against each other. They're working hand in hand. This is great for the box office. We've got a kids movie and we've got a grown-up movie at the same time, and neither of them disenfranchising the other side. Grown-ups can go see Mario. Kids can go see Project Hail Mary, and it's a cyclical thing. This is something to be excited about. This is the first time in forever that we've had this sort of thing. Even when we had Barbenheimer, neither of those was made for 5-year-olds. But you could take an 11-year-old to see Project Hail Mary. You can take a 9-year-old to see Project Hail Mary, and you can take a 50-year-old to see Mario, and everybody's happy. Go, box office, go! Oh, no. Folks, I don't have all positives. I was so excited. I'm so sorry. You see, the negative here is poor Hoppers. Disney's film that they told us was amazing. Remember that? Remember Hoppers? Remember we told us the greatest thing since sliced bread? Disney was on the comeback tour. Oh, my, look out. Well, Los Angeles Times was tooting this. With a big $46 million opening for Hoppers, Disney and Pixar see return to form. This was written back on March 8th. No, we're not going to subscribe. March 8th by Samantha Masunaga, but everybody was writing this. And the narrative that was supposed to be out there was this activist kind of film, you know, that you kids love it. It's the biggest thing since forever. Well, it turns out, folks, that Hoppers is being beaten now by Project Hail Mary, despite the fact that Hoppers was out for what, 2-3 weeks before it even came out? And Hoppers is essentially done. Mario's going to come and just kick it through the warp pipe, and not in a good way. Hoppers is toast. It's done. What did this movie need to make to break even? Well, it needed to make about $600 million, $250 million production budget, $100 million advertising, and you can bring it down to $500 million if you want to. You can say 500. You can say maybe they spent only 150 on it. Maybe they spent $100 million on advertising. Okay, and remember, you got to make whatever you get from the theater, you get half of that back because there's a percentage that goes to the theater, there's a percentage that goes to Uncle Sam, and then Disney gets the 50% that's left over. So they got to double what they spent in order to get the money back, okay? And it's production and advertising. A lot of the punditry does not like us to remind you that advertising costs money, but it does. So this film is going to come in at about 300, 350 is about the ceiling. It's going to come in and lose $100 million. But we were all told, remember, the Los Angeles Times told you, it's a return to form, baby. Disney's back. Oh, look out. But you know, it's funny how narratives work. It's funny how narratives work because guess what? We don't have to pretend with Mario. Out of box office theory, I think Sean Robbins is the author here. If we look over at the Super Mario Galaxy movie, there's something tricky about this. I need to show you. There's something tricky about it that could cause you to believe that Mario is going to underperform. If you look at the 3-day low and the 3-day high, you can see that the 3-day low is 101, the 3-day high is 130. Now that blows Hoppers out of the water, but we've been telling you that it's going to make, probably 180. So what's going on here? Well, Mario opens on a Wednesday, and that means that the 3-day low and the 3-day high are counting Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Now, you know that what we want to count is the weekend. That's what we want to count, right? If we look at the 5-day here, where it's going Wednesday through Sunday, right now the median is 170. Okay, we don't have the low and we don't have the high, but what we do have is we have the median. 170 is right now where the projection is. We've told you 180. We think it's going to perform better than. It might not. Who knows? 170 is still amazing. I mean, can you imagine 170 for its first real weekend? That is incredible. That is crazy good. 170. And that blows Hoppers. I mean, that's a 4X over Hoppers. I mean, come on. Come on. Get out of here. We don't have to do narratives. Why do they do the narratives, ladies and gentlemen? They do the narratives because they have been trying to sell you something that nobody wanted. That's why they've tried to do this. That's why they told you that Hoppers was amazing. They had to save the day for Bob Iger as best they could. And it's the last gasps of wokeism. That's what they've been up to, okay? They've been trying to tell you that destroying your heroes like Luke and Indiana Jones and Superman and all these characters, like destroying them, that's what audiences wanted all along. They wanted their expectations subverted. It turns out that's not the case at all. It turns out that we want an optimistic view of humanity. We want to see people overcome and overachieve. We want to see Grace and Rocky pair up in Project Hail Mary. That's what we want to see. We want to see a little plucky plumber get out there and just bright, happy colors and give us a message of, whatever this movie is going to be about. But what was the first Mario movie about? Brothers don't leave each other alone to fend for themselves. They come together as a family and they do something special, and you never give up. That was how simple is that? Audiences love it. And it doesn't hurt that Peaches is a great song. Peaches, peaches, peaches. I can't sing it. We'll get in trouble. Now, how bad is it for Hollywood? Okay, because some of you out there are saying, oh, Pro, we've done this before. Top Gun Maverick came out, and we shouted about it. We said, this is what America wants. And they said, we can't replicate this sort of thing. Conservatives are too hard to understand. We don't know what drives a 50-year-old man in Nebraska to go see a movie. Top Gun Maverick is a unicorn. We said, after Godzilla -1, this is what we're talking about. You all can do this for us. Give this to us. And we were told, oh, we can't do this in no way we could possibly do this. A Japanese weird thing. We watched as Spider-Man No Way Home came out, and now you see what they're doing with Spider-Man, and you see, hey, where's the Andrew Garfield end of the trilogy? Ignore for a moment what he said about Harry Potter. Where is the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 4? Why didn't we get that kind of stuff? Obviously, it's what people want, because Hollywood was determined to deconstruct your heroes. Hollywood was determined to do what they wanted, which was agenda-driven storytelling. Folks, we're here telling you we don't want agenda-driven storytelling. We're here to tell you we want something that appeals to the mass audience, to the sensible center, the mainstream middle. And now, even the closest allies of Hollywood are agreeing with us. Take a look at this. It's almost unbelievable. From the New York Times, the gray lady, the bastion of leftism. Project Hail Mary is fun. Maybe that's all it takes. If we scroll down here, it says Project Hail Mary. Well, we'll get the author. Who's our author? Roy Price. Chief Executive of International Art Machine and Entertainment Studio, previously the head of Amazon Studios. Notice who it's coming from. Notice it's on the New York Times. This is even bigger than a Hollywood trade, honestly. The message has gone on. Not that message, not the message. No. This is telling Hollywood, you're going extinct. You're at the brink of doing so. And now we know how to fix this. But you're going to have to fall on your woke ideological sword. Here's what it says. Project Hail Mary opened last weekend to more than $80 million at the domestic box office, the biggest opening for a non-franchise, non-sequel film since Oppenheimer in 2023. For all the fretting about the decline of movie theaters, people apparently know where their local theater is, just as long as they're given films they want to go and see. Oh, ow. Ella McKay? The Bride? No. Ghostbusters 2016? Nee. It's also the first major theatrical success for Amazon MGM Studios, which formed in 2023. It's not just a one-off hit either. The domestic box office in general in 2026 is up a robust 20% from the year before, driven by hits like the mid-December releases Avatar, Fire and Ash, which, folks, again, not woke, not great either, but, you know. The Housemaid, that did nothing. Along with this year's Scream 7, okay. Wuthering, come on, man. Come on, we're trying to give you a win here. Let me explain this, though. The reason they put this stuff in there, they have to make it palatable for the readers of the New York Times, okay? Because they have to give them something that they can accept. And the readers of the New York Times, they're not like you. They're not like me. They don't care about truth with a capital T. They care about the narrative. And they care about power. Okay, what is it we can give them that they'll actually absorb it, that through osmosis, they'll take it down? A possible reason for this rebound? Movies are starting to feel fun again. Eras change, vibes, as they say, shift. In 1969, a low-budget countercultural road movie, Easy Rider, was the fourth biggest box office hit, edged out for third place by the low-budget X-rated Midnight Cowboy. By contrast, Paint Your Wagon, a big-budget star-driven musical, tanked. That was the end of an era. Musicals were essentially over, and the cinematic 1970s had begun 1 year earlier. By the way, it wasn't just musicals, it was also Westerns. Now, what this is, and you can go read the article if you'd like to, what the New York Times is telling Hollywood is the era of woke is like the Western. The era of woke has come to an end. We cannot carry this for you anymore. We cannot pretend that Hoppers is doing Wunderbar. Wonderful. No, can't do it. We can't tell you that anymore because audiences have figured it out and we're not having any impact. And if there's one thing that influencers like the New York Times hate more than almost anything else, it's not being influential. And they're not influential. None of these people, none of the Rotten Tomatoes critics are having any impact on you and what you go see anymore. You've completely and totally thrown all of that away. The cachet is gone. And so what is happening right now? Hollywood is faced with Project Hail Mary uses real physical sets, and it's optimistic about humans, and it's not denigrating to men. Mario is about to come out, and it's about to have Japanese, a.k.a. What was just a decade ago, the Western values. It's going to talk about love and friendship and kindness and goodness and hard work. And okay, that's Mario, and there won't be a single ounce of woke in it. And by the way, Brie Larson, who was just thrown under the bus by Marvel and given a crazy set of edicts for how she was going to act on the press tours, she's turned a 180, and suddenly people love her again. Her career is rehabilitated. So Hollywood's looking at that and saying, New York Times is saying, you're going to do it because we want you to survive, because one day we might use you again for our purposes. And that's where we are right now, ladies and gentlemen. That's where we are. No more pretending, no more narratives confusing you. Turns out, maybe you were onto that already anyway. Project Hail Mary, a resounding success. If it doesn't get to the $600 million mark, which is where it needs to break even, it's okay. Because the way this one works is it goes to Amazon. When it goes to Amazon, it's going to make a lot of money there, and they know that. Disney's not the same way. If it goes to Disney Plus, nobody's going to pay for Disney Plus any more than they're already paying, so there's no extra revenue. But this one goes to Amazon Prime. It makes a lot of money there. So if it gets to $450, $500, it's a success. The way you know it's a success, they're already begging the author of the book, Andy Weir, to write a sequel so they can make a movie that's a sequel. That's a success. Okay? That's what success looks like. You remember when we were told some of those movies from just a few weeks ago, oh, we're going to get a sequel out, oh, we're going to do it, and suddenly nothing? Remember that? Remember when they were telling, oh, we're going to get a season 3, oh, we're going to get a season 4, and now they're canceled? Folks, this is what success looks like. Hollywood knows it. Everybody knows it. You know it. Project Hail Mario, resetting the expectations and the allies, suddenly turning the tide and saying to Hollyweird and Tinseltown, yep, wave the white flag. Wave the white flag. The mainstream middle, the sensible center, has won. No more deconstructing heroes. No more burning down the past. No more kicking the franchises people love and tasking yourselves with being part of an ideological capture propaganda machine for the nation and the world. All that is being tossed into the bin of a very dingy and dirty destruction of everything in entertainment. Ladies and gentlemen, you're winning. Folks, click that like button, drop a comment down below, let us know your thoughts, and if you're not yet subscribed, we'd love to have you on our side. Until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
Hey there, I'm Wilton. I've taken on a new role at the sunny Florida travel agency. If you use my travel agency, I promise with my little troll heart that you and me can hang out at the Fountain of Nations at Epcot at Walt Disney World. I can also hook you up on a good deal for water at the parks too. Send me your Walmart gift card codes now. Hey, Floral. What are you doing here? I'm trying to do an advert.
Couple things. This is quite literally a scam that you're trying to run on WDW Pro's channel.
What?
Folks, look. This is a green screen, and Wilton stole a B-roll from Pro.
Wait, are
Wilton
you
lives in
for real
Canada
right now?
and doesn't even have a passport.
Have I ever scammed anyone that you know of before?
Yep.
There's not a Fountain of Nations anymore.
Details are for the weak, Jose. Besides, I've got a bunch of Pro's audience that still think that Lauren has hair.
Oh.
We got this.